Just ahead on CTV News.
The county's fiscal year 27 budget is headed back to the drawing board. I'll tell you why in just a few minutes.
And an Oxon Hill man is facing murder charges in the April death of his stepfather. Plus, county leaders gather to show support for the LGBTQ+ community with the raising of the pride flag.
You do belong here, that you are seen, you are loved, and there is a place for you here in Prince George's County.
These stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for June 9th. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Brandon Williams. Thank you for joining us. For our top story, it takes us back to the drawing board after County Executive Aisha Braveboy noticed a few errors in the budget. This comes just 2 weeks after the budget was passed.
Questions now arise about why the budget wasn't balanced in the first place. Our Michaela Newton is at the County Council building with answers.
Council passed the budget just 2 weeks ago. And this was after the meeting to approve the budget was rescheduled several times to tie up some loose ends. But now there's still some changes to make. The county executive was made aware of issues within the budget, and we pressed officials for answers. You mentioned that one of the people that were helping with the budget was a little bit inexperienced. Can you kind of talk about, the county kind of hiring abruptly, maybe inexperienced people? Like, tell us, do you think that that's
an unfair characterization? Okay. Anytime you have people doing the budget for the first time, there might be things that they are learning and mistakes that they could make.
Do you think that that's a good reason and an explanation to the residents?
I think it's the truth.
In a letter to the County Council, Prince George's County Executive Aisha Braveboy stated the adopted budget is being returned because she identified certain clerical and numerical errors that needed correction. This comes after a review by council staff and staff of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. The budget was supposed to be completely approved by June 1st, but a staff error required several budget line items to be reworked. During today's council meeting, Chair Oriata expressed her concerns and addressed recent reports.
Because we are in such a time as this, and this is not in Prince George's County, this is nationally, where things are said that are so far from the truth, and it's said so fast, and it's out there, and then we move on to the next story or the next moment, and it's not ever taken a second to clear it up. And what I want us to hold is a better standard in Prince George's County.
Residents have watched meetings delayed, recesses called, legislation revised in real time. Quite frankly, it has been embarrassing.
Certain council members have been vocal about the need for a more professional and transparent county council. What do you think this looks like for residents?
It looks pretty untransparent, and I don't blame people for being concerned. I'm hearing from people all the time about this, and like I say, I regret that I voted for the park and planning part of the budget because we had so little time to review it.
And the county council formally adopted those changes. The budget now heads back to the county executive. In Largo, I'm Michaela Newton for CTV News.
Thank you, Michaela, for that report. We reached out to County Executive Braveboy, but she declined to comment.
A man from Oxon Hill is charged with homicide for the death of his stepfather. Prince George's Police Department responded to a call where they found James Venable unconscious with injuries in his home back in April. His stepson, Delvin Graham, was arrested at the scene. Graham's stepfather was taken to the hospital, but it was later ruled a homicide. The case is still ongoing, and Graham was sent to the Department of Corrections and is being held without bond.
It's been 2 months since jet fuel was found in the Piscataway Creek at Joint Base Andrews, but there's still a lot of questions about how it got there. Maryland officials are now pressing for answers, citing there was a critical delay by the base in giving full information to the Maryland Department of the Environment about the jet fuel leak. In April, MDE said roughly 32,000 gallons had leaked, but the base said quickly 22,000 gallons had been lost. MDE is still investigating and finds the base at fault for not disclosing the leak sooner or doing anything to stop it. Andrews has a history of pollution problems and has been on the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's Superfund priority cleanup list since 1999. An apartment building in College Park that provides housing for seniors and people living with disabilities receives a hefty grant. Attic Towers, located on the 9,000 block of Rhode Island Avenue, was awarded $3.15 million check on Monday. The federal funds were given out by Congressman Glenn Ivey and Senators Angela Alsobrooks and Chris Van Hollen. The Housing Authority of the City of College Park, which runs the building, says the money will help with costly repairs.
Housing is a basic and fundamental need of every human being. And so the investment that we make in housing is one that we do that recognizes, upholds, and affirms the humanity of all of our neighbors. It's been a real joy for us to have the opportunity to be here today making the $3 million investment in Attic Towers.
Meantime, also Brooks, Van Hollen, and Ivey awarded more than $7 million in federal funding to youth programs, nonprofits, and housing projects in the county yesterday.
Governor Westmore is now facing criticism for his decision to create an immigrant rights protection task force. The governor announced he was creating the task force as a way to protect immigrant communities who have fallen victim to scams. Republican Delegate Matt Morgan called the task force smoke and mirrors. Morgan went on to say this is political damage for the governor not signing the Community Trust Act. He says he believes the governor should be focused on the middle class.
And over 400,000 Maryland voters received a duplicate mail-in ballot, leaving many voters confused. The replacement comes after it was discovered that some voters were sent a ballot for wrong party due to a party printer malfunction. The duplicate mail-in ballot is now raising concerns where some voters have expressed confusion because of the replacement ballots. Now some voters are calling a review of ballot printing and clear communication with voters.
Meantime, the Trump administration is moving quickly to limit mail-in voting by the states. President Trump is moving to carry out a March 31st executive order that would restrict mail votes ahead of the November midterm. The president argues this will help prevent non-citizens from voting in the elections. But Democrats and voting rights advocates have pushed back, saying this is unconstitutional. The order could disrupt millions of voters, as it's estimated 30% of the votes casted in 2024 were done by mail. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Brandon Williams. Still to come.
Tonight on CTV News, we'll take you to the Marietta Historic Site and Museum, part of the Passport to History. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have all those details coming up on CTV News.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Welcome back. Prince George's County leaders came together today to raise the pride flag in front of the Wade K. Curry Administration Building. The annual ceremony is a way for those on the council to show support for members of the LGBTQ+ community. Maryland Delegate Ashanti Martinez came to the ceremony. He says his district has a lot of people who are part of the community. He says it's important for people to know they feel safe and represented.
You know, people want you to kind of conceal who you are, to shadow your identity. And so I think it's really important that we have examples like this where we're really affirming who folks are, because the LGBTQ community, our agenda is very simple. We want clean streets, we want safe streets, we want grocery stores that are accessible, we want to make sure education is high quality for our families and kids. We want everything that everyone else wants as well.
The LGBTQIA+ community is loved and valued and an integral part of our community. We today, in this political climate, we have to stand up at every opportunity to make sure that everybody knows that we value each member of our community.
And with it being National Pride Month, Prince George's County and local municipalities are planning to hold more events.
County Executive Aisha Braveboy has announced Latara Harris will be the new president and CEO of Employ Prince George's. Harris currently serves as the Chief of Staff to the county executive. She also at one point served as a member of the District of Columbia Workforce Investment Council. Employed Prince George's has served more than 100,000 job seekers and 15,000 businesses. Her first day will be on July 1st. Prince George's County is expanding its effort to fight food insecurity. A small grocery store opened yesterday in District Heights inside the Spalding's Branch Library, and it's free of charge. The space is designed to offer fresh produce and essential groceries for those in need. The store was created through a partnership with County Council Chair Crystal Oriata, the Storehouse, and Community on the Front Line. Those are two organizations known for giving resources to the community. This marks the second free grocery store in the county after the opening of the one in Fairmount Heights last week.
Families want a fresh approach to things, right? They also want their needs to be heard and also a unique experience. So with here, we've intentionally, from the design to the supplies to the way that the market is set up, it's built with families in mind.
I have a disabled neighbor, so whenever I see events like this, I like to come and get things that he would need because he can't come out the house. And I feel an obligation to help him.
Nutritional food is not as plentiful in some of our areas, some of our demographical areas as it is in other places, forgive me. So this is a wonderful day, and it's something that, again, people keep wanting, but they do not get. And this is a need that is necessary. So I'm happy for today. I really am.
And people who live in District 7 are eligible to enroll in the program to make their shopping trips. The store will be open 2 days a week and is expected to serve up to 100 people.
Yesterday, we introduced to you Karima Williams, the county resident behind the PG Voter Guide, a tool aimed to help county residents create their own voting guide for each seat that is up for grabs in the upcoming primary elections taking place in 2 weeks. The platform is user-friendly for laptops and cell phones. Karima told CTV the response from the community and even some candidates has been positive.
People feel relieved that they have information in one place. They feel like more excited to engage in the voting process. They feel ready to go, ready to vote people out, ready to vote people in. They're like very excited and express that very much so. I've gotten feedback, which has also been helpful on certain parts of it. I've gotten feedback to update certain information because a lot of it is generated and I can't review every single piece. That is really important. So I really do appreciate when people are messaging me.
And as a reminder, early voting starts this Thursday, June 11th, and ends on June 18th. And if you want to see who is running in the 2026 primary, head over to mypgvoterguide.com.
Switching gears now, as America's semi-quincentennial quickly approaches, the Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County, is encouraging families to visit and explore 7 museums operated right here in the county.
That's right, and today CTV's Katara Jones takes us to a museum that is the former slave and tobacco plantation of the late U.S. Supreme Court Justice Gabriel Duvall.
That's right. We are T-minus 25 days until America celebrates its 250th birthday. And today I'm here at the Marietta Historic Site and Museum, which is part of the Department of Parks and Recreation. And to talk a little bit more about this historic facility is Julie Rose, the director. Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. So talk a little bit about this area we're in. It looks like a kitchen, really.
It is a kitchen. This is a historic kitchen in the basement of Marietta House. This is where an enslaved woman named Maria and another woman enslaved, her name is Serena Jackson, where they worked day and night, and where they matched over many children, some their own and some who were not their own children, in the 1820s and the 1830s.
And these women were enslaved women. They were cooks here. Talk a little bit about what the day-to-day life was like for them.
Yes, absolutely. Maria was up early. She had 2 little girls of her own, and she was cooking for the Duvall family and serving the food in European style upstairs. Serena was assisting her and also also doing the housekeeping as well as minding her own 4 children she was taking care of, and probably the other children who were here on this plantation.
We are back here with Julie, who will talk a little bit more about this site that used to be a tobacco plantation, correct?
That is correct. Thank you so much for introducing the site. Marietta at one point had almost 700 acres. Some of it was cultivated to be tobacco fields and cornfields. Some of it was left as woodlands.
What makes this really grassland, this area, just so important for people to know about?
Thank you for asking that. It's hallowed ground. This is where enslaved people, the Duckett family, the Butlers, the Jacksons, the Browns, lived for generations, and we know where the original slave quarter dwelling was located. I'm going to turn and show you. Back on the tree line over here, we've been able to identify the location where the original slave dwelling house was located.
And when you walk this space, I mean, how do you feel walking in?
I'm honored. I'm really honored, and I also feel I have a really big responsibility to do justice to the memory of those families.
Thank you, Julie, so much. Again, this stop is part of the Passport, again, celebrating America's 250th birthday. For more information, you can always go on the website, pgparks.com. Send it back to you at the desk.
And for more details on how to collect all the 7 passport stamps, you can visit the website right there on your screen. Still to come on CTV News, we continue our exclusive interviews covering the County Council at Large race.
That's right, and after the break, we sit down with candidate Sean Floyd. You don't want to miss it.
We are women first, but women with disabilities last.
During a military exercise, we crashed and I broke my neck.
When I was in the Air Force, an accident changed my life. I couldn't have imagined the injustices I would face.
Every day, women like me go to the doctor for annual checkups for conditions like breast cancer. Early detection saved my life. But women with disabilities face a cruel reality: inaccessible medical facilities and equipment.
In the 25 years since my injury, I have not seen a gynecologist. There's not one accessible OBGYN in my community.
I found lumps in my breast. I went to a doctor's office I was told was accessible. But when I got there, I couldn't get through the front door.
I don't know where I'd be today without access to testing. Our veterans deserve better. Help PVA fight for access at pva.org.
If words were enough, I would help you bear your burden. I would watch each child of yours grow strong and true. Teach them to read and to write and to sing, so that their voices be forgotten nevermore. If words were enough, I would sate your hunger, and you would know you are my sister, my brother, my child. If words were enough.
It's so hard to predict a sick kid who just keep getting sicker, but we needed to be together as a family. My family is my entire life. My family means the world to me.
When we're together and we have support from Ronald McDonald House, we can be a little stronger. They provide food and a place to rest your head, and they will help you through every step. That's what gets you through every day when you don't know how else you're gonna make it.
It makes you feel like you're not alone.
We are now 2 weeks away from the 2026 primary elections, and in the next coming weeks, CTV News will continue to bring you exclusive interviews with the candidates.
And today we welcome a candidate running for the County Council at Large seat, Mr. Sean Floyd. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose to run for this seat.
So as I tell people, I'm a child of Prince George's County, born, raised here, grew up in the Kentland area, and then moved to southern portion of the county and graduated from Oxon Hill High School. Go Clippers, by the way. But what really made me run is, quite honestly, our residents are losing faith in our government. Our county leadership is not listening to our residents, and residents are slowly but surely getting more and more discouraged. I currently serve as the vice chair of the Parks and Recs Advisory Board, and we've been spending the last year or two going around the county and listening to folks. So instead of running for a specific district seat, I decided to run at large.
Okay. And as we reported earlier in the show, the county executive rejected the county council's proposed budget. And I think I was reading somewhere online that you believe that when it comes to this budget process, there needs to be an agency oversight committee. Can you just elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So I used to work in D.C. for Mayor Bowser. I worked for her for 4 years for her first term. One of the things that the D.C. Council does is has agency oversight hearings. So every year prior to them having budget hearings, they go back to the agencies and ask them, what did you do with the money we gave you last year? And that's one of the problems that we have right now in Prince George's County. We don't know what our agencies are doing with the money we gave them last year. We don't know if that money was sufficient or deficient for the needs of our county residents. And without these types of hearings and making them mandatory, we don't have a process for doing that to understand really where our tax dollars are going.
Another issue that residents have been vocal about is inflation and how that could be taxing, especially for long-term residents that want to stay here. If elected, how would you go about making sure that Prince George's County remains affordable for everybody?
So I think one of the things that we have to do, to go back to that original point, is create some stability in our government. Anybody who wants to come and invest in our county right now, if you're looking at us in the news, this isn't probably the most attractive place to come and spend your money. So if we can get our agencies, our leadership in our county together, then we can go out here and tackle the real hard problems. We know that the cost of living is going up, but it's not becoming just the cost of living, it's actually turning into a cost of survival. And that's where things like these grocery stores are coming in, the food pantries and the car lines, because folks are hurting right now. And we have to do better as a county to provide for our residents.
And public safety is a top concern for everyone, especially with domestic violence cases on the rise. And unfortunately, we recently reported on a woman that was killed as a result of domestic violence. If elected to office, what would you do to ensure everyone is safe?
So I'm 100% an advocate for protecting our residents, period. Domestic violence can occur both against men and women, and lately what we've been seeing is an uptick in domestic violence against women. I think that one of the things that we really have to do is really look at how we're tackling the problems overall as a whole. What we do know is that everybody that commits a crime in Prince George's County doesn't live in Prince George's County. Just like everybody that commits a crime in D.C. or Montgomery County don't live there. So we not only do we need to focus on what we're doing in our strategy here in the county, but how are we collaborating with our neighboring jurisdictions to make sure we have a community effort to really address crime in this area.
And we recently saw the new appointment of the school superintendent, Dr. Sean Joseph. If elected, how much are you looking forward to working alongside him and making sure that our students are getting the best education possible?
I would love to work with anybody who wants to support our students. I think we need to fully fund the blueprint for Maryland schools. But quite honestly, I think the school board, especially our new superintendent, should also be subjected to these agency oversight hearings. We award the school board over $2 billion every year to operate and function for our students. And again, we also don't go back to them and ask them, what are you doing with that money? How are we using it to better serve our students? And then we also have to look at not just what we're doing for our primary students and our secondary students, but adult learning across the board, whether that's adults who need additional training or refugees or other people from other countries who also need to come in and learn English, learn skills to develop to become integral parts of our workforce.
And when it comes to data centers, that's really been dominating the headlines over the last couple of months. You have some people who are strongly against them, you have some people who are for them, and then you have some people who are kind of in the middle. Where is your stance when it comes to data centers?
At this moment, I'm 100% against data centers. I don't think we need a data center at Landover Mall ever. And I think before we can even consider putting a data center in Prince George's County, we need to do three things. We need environmental regulations, we need zoning regulations, and we need resource regulations. If we can pass legislation to do that, then I think we then take that back to the residents to see how they feel about it once those regulations are passed. And if they're still saying no, again, we have to have leadership that's listening to our residents, then we don't bring data centers to Prince George's County. All money isn't good money.
And one of the other things, too, that we want to make sure that we highlight is the economic growth of the county. Do you feel like Prince George's County is heading in the right direction economically?
Yes, a little bit. Quite honestly, small businesses have been the backbone of our county for quite a while. I don't think that we do enough to provide support and funding or even advertising and marketing the small businesses that are doing very well in our county. But we also have to do a better job at attracting larger corporations. Virginia has Amazon HQ2. Netflix has a second headquarters in DC that just opened up. Montgomery County has places like the Marriott headquarters, and we really don't have big Fortune 500, 1,000 companies in Prince George's County, and we're an attractive county, a county full of opportunity, and we should be able to attract them just as well as any of our neighboring jurisdictions.
And Mr. Floyd, thank you for your time today.
Thank you all for having me.
Best of luck in the race.
And you want to make sure you tune in tomorrow as we interview another candidate, Councilman Sidney Harrison. Early voting begins this Thursday, June 11th, and goes until June 18th.
Primary election day is Tuesday, June 23rd. To look back on some of our other exclusive candidate interviews, you can watch them on our YouTube page at PGCTV online.
Stay right there for your Tuesday sports page, guys, as the UMD women's basketball squad's conference schedule for the 2027 season has been released. Find out who the Lady Turks will be matching up against when we come back.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life, and you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Type 2, take 2.
Action. You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself, to look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Hey there, sports fans, your favorite segment has arrived. Beginning with some high school hoops news, if there's one thing DeMatha High School is known for, it's their sports teams, specifically basketball. Year in and year out, the Stags always seem to be one of the more competitive teams in the WCAC, finishing this past season at 21-10. And for head coach Mike Jones, unity and playing the right way is a big reason for the team's success over the years.
One thing is DeMatha, which we try to really highlight that, but at the same time getting guys to master the fundamentals, being super physical on the defensive end, being in elite shape so they can perform on the defensive end and offensive end, but just really sharing the ball. Our recipe for this year is just really playing together, playing for each other, and then really defending at a high level.
The Stag Summer League team will take the court next against Clinton Grace tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And sticking with basketball news, listen up, Terps fans, as the women's basketball team's conference schedule for the 2027 season has finally been announced. Head coach Brendan Freeze and company will host Ohio State, UCLA, and USC, just to name a few. Man, if Juju Watkins is playing, I'm going to have to check out that USC game, y'all. And the Lady Terps will take their show on the road for the games against Indiana, Iowa, Northwestern, Penn State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Washington, and Oregon. Maryland is returning 3 all-conference honorees in Bree McDaniel, Aluchi Okananwa, and Addie Mack. For more information on the Lady Terps schedule, you can visit the website on your screen. In other news, the Washington Commanders began the last portion of their OTA workouts earlier today. The Commanders are looking to bounce back from a disappointing 2025 season where they finished at just 5-12 and missed out on the postseason. Washington's last day of OTAs will be on June 11th, followed by the team's mandatory minicamp, which will be held from June 16th to the 18th. And in Major League news, the Orioles fell to the Seattle Mariners last night, 6-3. Game 2 of the series will take place tonight at 6:35. And finally, the Washington Nationals came out on top in Game 1 of their series versus the San Francisco Giants last night, winning 4-3. The Nats are now 34-33 and will face off next against the Giants again tonight at 9:45. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, thanks, Simon. We're now going to take a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, showers are expected between 3 and 5 a.m. Tomorrow, it'll be 87 degrees. We have a chance of showers and thunderstorms after 2 p.m. Thursday, expect the rain around the same time in the afternoon. We're going to have a high of 94 and a low of 73. Friday, more rain is on the way. It's going to be 97 degrees to kick off the weekend.
And for our community calendar, the Route 1 corridor in Hyattsville is celebrating Pride Month tomorrow with a big gay jam. Head over to Riverdale Park for Denizen Brewing Company's 2nd annual Strum and Sing-Along. This year's lineup features hits from LGBTQ artists and allies like Chappelle Roan, George Michael, and Queen for questions or for more information, call 240-582-6817.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Have a great night.